happens when Mina is alone without my intelligent guidance.
We are down to 4 cutout wheels, and
so he slowly cut the bumper support until there's nothing. Oh yeah, and then that, yeah. But look, he welded on his own. Look at that.
I did.
Look at that.
I did. I'm getting there.
He's not at all, but
I had the door locked.
he turned the welder on all by himself. So we're gonna cut that off, and then we're just gonna rebuild this entire center part out of all that flat stock under the bug, and then go from there. So the intercooler is gonna sit there.
Yeah.
And then
sit
where those holes are. So we're just gonna remake all this out of some thicker metal so it's strong, and then see how that looks.
Yep, Preston's gonna weld it.
You bet your balls I am. Okay, so we made this little bracket, and then we currently can't figure out a decent way to get this to tilt back without welding metal up here at an angle. So for the time being, we just gave those bolts some extra room, and then we're gonna make brackets down here to hold it back, and then the bolts will have the wiggle room. Right now, where did that stuff go? So right now what we're trying to figure out is how to get something to go from here to there, because we did, where'd that big one go?
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did this one from down here to the turbo, and then that completely blocked any chance of a pipe going from here back. So we need to make this go to there, and then that one will go that way or something. But we don't really know.
So I guess after cutting it, with a coupler being from here to here.
Yeah, so the idea is that's at a slightly different, like that angle, and then we cut these ends off quite a bit. We might be able to make that happen. Maybe.
I mean, we're gonna find out.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
We're gonna do it. Yeah, a lot of progress.
Kinda. Yeah, okay. Okay, so Mina got the intercooler piping mocked up. We got this from the junkyard, and it actually worked perfectly going to there. And then instead of going straight back like we wanted to, we curved around like that and came up to that hole, and works pretty good. So we're gonna mark where we want this, and then Dennis is gonna TIG it tomorrow. And then we were looking at the radiator situation. While we could fit something here, I mean, the manifold's right there, and then, you know, the up pipe's there, and then the hot side's right here, and it's just going to be, and then with that blocking so much air, I just don't think it's going to be a good setup. So we're going to attempt to put it in the trunk. Hang on. Okay, so basically, we're going to cut out this whole spare tire section, and that's basically where we're going to mount the radiator. We don't know what kind of angle we're doing yet, or if it's going to be completely flat, if we're going to put holes in the trunk to let the air escape. We don't know what the plan is yet. All we know is it's going to go back there. So the next step that I'm going to do, or Mina should be here soon, we're going to put a hole right there for the wideband, and then somewhere down there on that up pipe down yonder, we're gonna put a hole and try and mount the wastegate. So that's what we're doing right now. Also, I don't know if we already talked about this. If not, then I'll edit this. So we wanted to put this intercooler at an angle towards the bottom to help bumper clearance. To do that properly, this metal needed to be bent at the angle that we wanted. Since we didn't do that, we put long bolts, some washers, and then we're going to use this plumber's tape at the bottom to pull it back, and then the long bolts just give it room to angle. So I would like to fix that the right way, but just while we're mocking everything up, that's kind of what we're rolling with. So yeah, we're getting pretty close. So I'm going to do what we just told you and see how that works. I have no idea how the plumbing for the radiator is going to make it back there, because we can't go down there, because then if we go below the transmission, it's too low. If we go down there next to the exhaust, it gets super hot. So I have zero idea how that's going to work out. We didn't know how any of this was going to work out, and it's working pretty good. So we're just going to keep moving along and see what we end up with. Yeah, a thousand times, we don't know what we're doing. We're just rolling with it. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so this is what we rigged up. We were both on a time crunch. We both had to go home to our wives, or we're getting divorced tonight. So we just did this in like, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes. So I thought about how to do this. At first I was thinking like, let's put it at the same angle as this, so when the exhaust flow is coming up, it flows into that pipe nicely. Dennis had a good point, and he was saying when the wastegate isn't open and the exhaust flows up that pipe, it's going to sit there and kind of chatter and be choppy. And since this manifold is not even close to efficient because of how little this pipe is on the inside, like up here, it's way too small. So since none of this is efficient, and I really want to remake this down the road, because this was actually pretty easy to make. So I think if we get some nicer pipe and do it a little nicer, it'll be that much better. So we weren't really too focused on how efficient this was going to be. I mean, I did think about this a lot. Dennis said just because the rest of this is whatever, just pretty much stick it on there. Let's see what it does. So these are pieces of a header from a Lancer we got at the junkyard. So I think we still have enough left over there for the Bug. If not, we'll go find another set of Chinese headers. So that goes up like such, and then we don't really know kind of what position. I mean, this can turn like that, and then we can move this like that, if that, blah blah blah. So we don't really know how it's gonna permanently stay, but at least we can weld everything, and then we can literally move these because of the V-band the entire time. We'll weld everything, and then we can pick where we want all that to sit. So that's all we're doing for tonight. Tomorrow we'll weld that. Mina said tomorrow he's gonna work on return lines. We had a thought. It's going to be really hard to run solid pipes back for the radiator as far as ground clearance goes. I don't really know how we're going to route it around the engine and back yet, but I did think, once we get it back, I'm going to make some little like skid plates, but not really, almost like what do they call those? Like a drive shaft hoop. So just in a couple spots, I'm going to make some little like skid plate hoop things out of probably like 1/4 inch steel. And in that way, if and when the car scrapes, those little hoops will be the first thing to hit. And then hopefully pretty much immediately after scraping a few times, we'll realize, okay, we need to put the car up a little bit. We need to put some meteor tires on it, something like that. The nice thing is this is going to not be a stance queen at all. Mina wants to find some nice like street drag slick things for the front, so we're going to have some meat on it. So it's not going to be slammed. It's going to be lowered, but we should have enough ground clearance to make all that happen. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, for literally like 30 minutes, and that's what we came up with. So that works for me. I think my downpipes are supposed to be here tomorrow, but we're going to finish this, and then we'll move back to the Bug. Yeah, so that's what we got for tonight. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
2 hours later.
Okay, so I think in the clip a minute ago I said my downpipes are going to be here tomorrow. I meant my wastegates. So they showed up. So we got 2 of these beautiful fake tiles that should do the job, and then it's got V-bands and the fittings and everything to make it all work. Cool, so that's for the bug. Okay, so I also mentioned we were going to try and put the radiator in the rear. Had a couple good points here and there. We're going to still try and make it work in the front. There's a Mini Cooper, or the Mini Cooper, or a Mini Cooper radiator. That's like a 12 by 12 square. And I think we can get a little bit thicker one. And we're going to try and put that up front. Most of the reason why is just to put it in the rear is going to be a pretty big project. We're going to have to run an external water pump for, if it was a track car and it was constantly at high RPMs, that Honda water pump should be enough to spit the water back and forth. But daily driving, traffic kind of stuff, and we're just sitting at idle, that it's not going to be moving enough water. So to try and avoid doing all that, we're going to try and fit a radiator up front. So Mina should have that on order. Where we are at right now and where we're ending this video is what I'm about to show you. So got this turbo kind of polished. I did not, and made it shiny. Mina got the heat wrap on the manifold, and then Dennis TIG welded the oil return. He also TIG welded this blow-off valve flange. Let's see, so intercooler's there. Dump tube, we still have to cut a hole in the hood. It looks like Mina started to kind of mock up and cut where it's gonna go. So next I think is radiator, injectors, and we still haven't heard back from Brent on what we're doing for tuning. He was thinking about some way to combine Hondata with another ECU or do like a weird piggyback system or something. He was trying to come up with something kind of cost effective for us. But I don't know what's going on with that. So next video, everything should be on. We'll have a radiator. We should be able to start and drive it. But we're going to putz it around for sure. But it's pretty much... I mean, it's pretty much done. We're getting pretty close. Depending on the situation with that, we might bounce over to the bug. I got another 2-to-1 Y to go right there, and then we can send exhaust out there and there. Wastegates are in, so we can do that. Mina got a aftermarket S4 2-to-1 at the junkyard, which was a good find. So this is a lot more forgiving and flexible than, I don't know where the stock one, the stock one is really brittle and does not stretch at all, so we would end up ripping the rubber if we tried to squeeze it over the pipes that we have. So we might be able to make some headway on that, but it's kind of nice now because we can bounce back and forth between the two depending on what we have and what we don't have. I think that's it. Subscribe, help us out. You guys like what we're doing, comment, share, all that nonsense. I try to repeat this as many times as I can. We're not experts, we don't know what we're doing. You guys are learning with us as we are learning, so if you guys have pointers for us, let us have it. I mean, I'm open to criticism. We know this stuff is far away from top notch, and we've tried to repeat that several times. But yeah, until next time, I guess. Thanks for watching.